back to Healing Mama podcast. I am Val, aka Healing Mama, and today's episode is episode 13, the alpha female mentality. And I have Miss Ashley here with me today. So thank you, Ashley, for coming on. I appreciate it.
Of course, of course. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. Thank you. So we'll kick off the quote. So today's quote is, I'm here to show the world that a woman can be light and dark, gentle and fierce, strong and soft, both a warrior and a healer, and that balance doesn't make her bad, it makes her powerful as fuck. So I love that because when I read this, I see the contrast. So the light and the dark, the soft and the strong. So that tells me I can still, get into my masculine energy, my feminine energy, and be both and not be judged. And it just means that I'm strong, and not everybody can tap into their masculine and feminine at the same time. And so being able to accept myself and know that as an alpha female, we are both. We can do it
Yep.
all. And so I really, really love that. And tapping into that is something that I feel like I do on a daily. And it is kind of something that you almost have to turn down because you forget how alpha you are. So you're like, okay, hold on. So you kind of have to find that medium of where you're like, okay, I can turn into the soft girl at this point in time. So really balancing that.
Yep.
What do you think, Ash?
I mean, it depends. I think you like trying to balance that energy's. I don't want to say it's hard, but you have to know when to turn it off and turn it on. And it also depends on the people that are in your life, relationship-wise,
Yes.
friends-wise, career-wise.
Exactly.
And again, in all of those aspects, you have to, not aspects, but all those relationships, you have to know, okay, my feminine energy is higher here, but my alpha energy is going to be way higher here. Like my career, my alpha energy is going to be a lot higher. My relationship, because I have an alpha male, is my feminine energy comes out, and that alpha is very small, and that's okay because that's how my relationship is. But with my friends, I have a little bit of both. I have, the alphas, and I don't have the alphas. And so you kind of have to know like where you sit in all of those. But and I mean, you just have to turn it on and off when necessary.
And I love that you said that, though, because I saw something on TikTok the other day. It was talking about how, when you do have that significant other that is alpha and in their healed masculine energy, you can kind of slide into that little girl, like that feminine, that I'm comfortable, versus having to be strong and I'm the alpha and I'm wearing the pants. Like you can go back into that feminine energy because you feel safe.
I think it's the feeling safe. I always tell him, when I'm with you, I feel safe and I can turn it off. And that's, I can turn the alpha off because that's just me, but also my career has that alpha sense that makes me have it even more. And so being able to completely turn off what my career is and also the alpha when I'm around him is amazing. I don't want to say I don't have to worry, but I know like I can completely shut it off in my brain and just be me, and I don't have to worry. And in past, relationships, I really haven't had that. I've had to be the alpha, and you always come off, and you always come off like a mean person or an ugly person, or, oh, she's got RBF or this and that. And it's really not that. I shouldn't have to be an alpha 24/7. I should be able to turn it off and tap into that feminine energy. And
100%.
and again, maybe you've seen the girl on TikTok. I believe she's Arabic. She's amazing. I love watching her. She said, when I walk out that door, that alpha turns on and I'm going to be that boss. But when I walk back in that door, the feminine energy should be able to be turned on because the alpha's already there. And I'm like,
100%.
exactly. I agree with her. And so it's nice to have that turn off and feel secure and feel safe.
The light and the dark.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's the same thing that I feel like, as a business person and somebody who's going out there, I have to portray that alpha side of me, that masculine energy, because in business, a lot of the times it is males. So, they look down on women, and that's not everybody, but most of the time, more often than not, they are looking down. So I have to come in confident. I have to come in strong, because if I am tapped into my the femininity part of it, then I could be taken advantage of. So it's very difficult.
It is. But do you also feel like I feel like sometimes when I go into the business aspect, and I'm barely scratching that surface with my business, um, I feel like when I go in, it's like, oh, like what the heck? And it's like I'm not trying to be that like ugh, bring that energy, right? But I also have that I've seen it where guys take advantage, and I'm like
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be that female that like runs in and tries to be all masculine in it, but at the same time I'm not going to be taken advantage of.
Yes, you
And
have to
so
stand your ground.
exactly. So that it's hard to find that balance there too, right? Because it's like, man, I know you could take advantage of me and I'm not going to have that. And so that balance there is also hard as a businesswoman. And I don't think that's
Exactly.
fair because if a man came into it, they'd be like, oh, yeah, that's great.
100%.
And yeah, yeah, I got you. But us, it's like, oh, no, that it's totally different and it's annoying.
100%. Yeah, yeah, it's double standard. So in a way, it's like I feel like people see alpha females as, oh, like you said, she has RBF, or you know what, she's too masculine. She's too mask for me. It's not even that I'm too mask or that my masculine energy is too much. It's that you're intimidated because you're coming from
Yes.
an unhealed part, a part of you where you're intimidated by a female because you're not secure in your masculinity. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
totally different thing, and I think people are turned off, and that's why I feel like, you know, I've been with Andres. We've had our ups and downs, but in times when we weren't together, it is hard for me. People would tell me like, "Hey, you are intimidating." 100%. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm built strong. You're built strong, and if you can take me for what I am, awesome. But if you're not a man that is not tapped into that healed masculine side of him where he takes that on and he's like, "No, I am alpha. I am masculine. I'm safe in my masculinity." Little boys that aren't are very intimidated by that, and that's even in business mentality too. Those Some men aren't tapped into that healed energy, and so
Exactly.
they're intimidated.
And
I
it's been difficult, and I will say in past relationships where um guys just don't and this is gonna kind of come out wrong, but my brother's always told me you've always have to find somebody with bigger balls than you, Ashley. And I always laugh at that. And I'm like, I really don't think that's like the proper wording, but I get what he's
I
saying.
get it.
It's got to be a bigger alpha. And just because I don't sit back and take it, like
Mhm.
I'm not that, and nothing against females that do this, right? Because every female's different, but I'm not one that sits back and like wants to be walked all over. I'm a type of female that I will be a ride or die. But I'm gonna be an alpha, and I'm gonna build an empire with you. And if you
Mhm.
can't handle that type of alpha, then I'm not the female for you. I want what's
Exactly.
best for you, me, and us together.
Together as
And
a unit. Yeah.
exactly. But you don't see that normally in females that aren't alphas. And I'm not trying to like make anybody feel bad, but I really haven't seen that in people in females that are not alphas. And those are the females
100%.
that I always say, like, they go around and say, I broke a nail and I don't want to get dirty. And I'm like, I'm not that type of female. I will have nails. I will break them. I'll go get them fixed so I look ratchet, but I have eyelashes.
Yeah, yeah.
I get my hair done, whatever. You can still be that feminine alpha, but
100%.
I just I don't know. It's very different for me. You gotta in a relationship, you gotta be that alpha, but have that
Yeah.
bigger alpha.
Exactly. It's the yin and the yang. And so it's just like, for me, I am this strong, confident woman. And so a lot of the times Andres is very quiet and reserved. So they see it as, oh, well, Val wears the pants. No, Val doesn't wear the pants.
Mm.
I'm just the strong, like out there one. I'm kind of in your face and he's more reserved, but guaranteed anything goes down. Oh, I step back because I know that he's got me. I know that whenever there's a situation, he's just the quiet one. I'm the more outspoken out there ones, but I mean, I feel full confidence in him and I can be that little girl and I can tap into that. So
Mhm.
that that's something that's awesome because like I said, some people are just intimidated by it, point blank, period. In any
Mhm.
kind of relationship, friendship, sometimes you see it to where even friends or people that you're starting to get to know, they are kind of intimidated by it and you're like, "Okay, well." I feel like at times I've second guessed myself like, "Am I too much?"
But have you ever felt like it's more of a female thing? Like,
100%.
females don't wanna be your friend, and I'm like, if you only knew I'm, like, the nicest, most and I don't wanna say dumbest, but, like, the dumbest blonde that you can come across sometimes, like, when you get to know me, I'm just a big jokester, but I've had it to where I've had friends say, like, "Oh, they don't wanna be around you because they think you're
Mhm.
mean." It's like, I haven't said 2 words to them, and yet if they actually came up and talked to me or let me go up and be like, "Hi, I'm Ashley, like, nice to meet you," whatever, they would get to know me and be like, "Oh, she's actually a really cool person to be around." But
See the
they've never
heart.
given me they've never given me that opportunity. So people always wonder, "Well, why do you have more guy friends than girlfriends?" I don't get along with girls because they just don't like me. And I don't know if it's an intimidation thing. I don't
Imitate,
know
yep,
if
exactly.
I don't know.
Intimidation.
And I'm like, if I'm the type of person, I go through the store and I'm like, I like your shoes, I like your hair, I like your sweater. Like I'm
Yeah.
trying to build
Mhm.
females up, and yet I have females over here like, look at her, she
And
looks
see,
mean or whatever.
yeah, I love that you said that because that's something that, like, I wanted to talk about too because I feel like, you know, growing up as a teenager, I feel like we kind of get that alpha female mentality from things that happen to us throughout life, right? And then as you get older, you do start to realize the girls are a bit more catty and you do gravitate
Hmm.
more towards the guys, but it's because the guys aren't seeing you as competition. And so you become the girl who's like, "Oh, she has all these guy friends. Like, what? Like, is she a hoe? No, she's not a hoe. Just some
Exactly.
men are not intimidated."
Exactly. And I have my older brother, and so it was always he was really protective, so I was always around him, and so it was like all his friends typically were like big brothers to me, right? And so I learned sports, I learned cars. I don't know if that was just because I was the only girl in my family and it was like we're going to teach her cars, and
Yeah,
I learned all of that. And so if a guy was talking and I can talk sports and cars and whatnot to them, girls also were intimidated by that. And I'm like, I don't want your dude. Like we're just talking like I like the Texans. I'm going to sit and talk to Texans with them or football or whatever.
exactly.
And so I'm like, that's not me. I can talk more about that. And me not having kids has also been that barrier between me and other females because I can't talk diapers and
Yeah.
baby bottles and things like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna talk to the guys about, what sports or whatever.
Yeah.
And the career that I'm in is male dominant. So I'm like, I can talk that career with them and be okay. Versus I don't know. You want me to talk about Huggies? I don't know. I don't know that. So that's also been
You're like,
another.
"So, do they leak?"
Exactly. I'm like, oh, they're sizes. I'm just kidding. Like, but I'm like, and that's also been where it's like, okay, well, I don't. That's where again, having friends that are girls never really worked out for me, and so it's
Mhm.
always been
Totally
when
agree.
I've found friends that were females. They are some alpha confident females, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is what I needed. I need those alphas that are on my level, and I can talk to, and they don't feel intimidated. I don't feel intimidated. I'm trying to figure out how to get on your level because I like how you
Exactly.
work as a female, in your relationship. I see you're a power couple. I see that, you're a
Mhm.
boss, and I see all these things. And so I'm like, that's where I want to be. And I,
Mhm.
I still learn from the other females. I can learn from them, but that's just not me. So I'm like, okay. So a lot of my friends are business owners and they're females that
Boss
they're running and
bitches.
gunning. Yes. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, get it, girl, get it, girl. So I mean, again, that's just me. I don't feel intimidated by them. They don't feel intimidated by me. We're growing and thriving off of each other. And I think that's
Exactly.
amazing to have that thought process with females because again, like you said, they're so catty and they're so vindictive and manipulative that they want those ones that aren't there, they want to bring you down. And I hate that. As
100%.
females, we should be bringing each other up.
Yes. Yes. And I love that you said that because this segue, it's a segue. So, the definition of an alpha female: inspires, gives advice, uplifts, and yet still holds themselves and their own always. So you're inspiring, and I feel like you said, like as an alpha female, you're not intimidated because you want to see that other person grow and thrive, and you're like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. Show me what you're doing. Let's learn from each other. Let's get this together." So you're inspiring other females, you're growing them, and I feel like you also have to have those alpha females because sometimes they can check you at the same time, like, "Hey,
Oh
like, I
yeah.
saw what you did. Like, pump your brakes. Let me tell you what's up."
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are like, "Yo, Ash, chill out, calm down." I'm like, "Okay, okay." They bring me back down to, "Okay, I got it. Like, I need to chill," or
Mhm.
"No, keep doing what you're doing," or "You weren't in the wrong. Keep doing this," or whatever the case may be. And
Yeah,
it's not always the alpha females that do that too, right? It's the alpha male. I mean, in my relationship, he'll say, "Hey, Ash, chill out." No, okay, my bad. But again, it's just always having someone hold you accountable, regardless. More
100%.
so
I love
females,
that.
it's nice because you don't have that with females. It's rare. You have that and you're like, oh, you're right. Maybe I
Yeah.
should check myself because this girl's telling me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's always good.
And that's what I told Jalen. I always tell her, we're never gonna bash somebody. Like, let's not like talk about somebody. Let's like uplift them. Like, if you see that they're struggling, like, hey, like I got you. She had a friend who didn't make the choir, the next level choir, and so her friend was down. And I told her, just tell her, hey, I've been there before, not in the choir aspect, but I have been, not selected to be on a team. And so walk her through that. Let her know you got her, and that she's gonna try again next year. And maybe this is, something that's going to take time. She's gonna have to grow and progress, but trying to build her into that little strong, confident young woman and then soon to be woman that she's going to become. Because I feel my mom always used to tell me, be a leader, not a follower. And that was something that stuck with me always. And so not having my dad around, my mom and I's relationship was wishy-washy, and I felt like that made me strong in who I was, because I was like, okay, I'm all I have. So I need to be
Mhm.
confident in who I am. So from a very young age, I was confident. And this is kind of TMI and embarrassing, but I'm just going to say it because I just keep it real on the show. So I was like the biggest tomboy ever. I was in 7th grade, not shaving my legs, like not caring. Like I was straight up just a tomboy. And so I remember this guy telling me, ugh, your legs are hairy. I said, well, don't look. Like, I was like so
I
strong and
love
confident
it.
in who I was. Yeah. And so as I got older, I still had that mentality of I'm a leader, not a follower. I'm going to continue to be in my peace and be confident. And if you like me, you like me. You don't, you don't. I want to get along with people, but I'm not for everybody. So I have to understand that and know that I can't be hurt if somebody doesn't like me. I'm not for everybody. I'm not your cup of tea, but I know that I'm going to be confident in myself. And I feel like that confidence is frowned upon. It's looked at as arrogance almost in a sense.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I really do because I don't in high school I was more of like I kind of stood back and watched everybody. I'm still kind of like that. I'm the quiet one that's kind of in the corner and watches everything. And I don't know if that's just been me, but as I've gotten older, I've noticed I will talk, I will say more what's on my mind. I'll communicate more. I really don't care at this point. Like it's either you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna love me or you're gonna hate me. And
Mm-hmm.
so I mean the confidence, if you want to take it that way, by all means take it that way. I'm not saying you have to like me. I always tell people you don't have to like me and I don't have to like you. I don't wish you any bad. I just don't want you to sit at my table then. Because
Mm-hmm.
you're not helping me in any way. And it's not that I have to have people in my corner at my table that help me, but I don't want that negativity. I'd rather have the
100%.
positivity
Yeah.
in my corner. So if
Good
I can
energy.
build exactly, if I can build you up, then you're going to help build me up and we're just going to rise together versus all these people that are
100%.
throwing negative at you, negative at you, negative at you and then you just become a negative person and it's like, no, I don't need that
Exactly.
negativity in my life.
Low key rooting for you to fail.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And it's crazy to see that as I've getting older and the things that I've gone through, the people that were once in my corner and seeing how they are now, and I've had to eliminate a lot of them from my life or take a step back from them is crazy because it's always like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I thought you were always in my corner and really you weren't.
Yeah. No, I get that. And when you feel that, it stings. You're just like, oh shit, like I invested so much into you. And so it stings to see that you didn't get that back. But I think of it as, hey, even right now in my life, people are dropping like flies. But I'm like, you know what? It's for my greatest and highest good. I'm going to let you be. I wish you the best, no ill will, but you're not for me. We've hit that
Exactly.
season, the season on to the next season. You're no longer in that one.
I always say God will put you in my life for a reason, whether good or bad, right? So he
Mm-hmm.
either puts you in my life to learn a lesson
Mm-hmm.
or to have great positive outcome, right?
Preach.
So I'm
Preach.
like, okay, if it's someone that's not right for me, that's the Lord's way of saying, hey, I taught you a lesson. You learned,
Mm-hmm.
don't go back to that. Or, and
100%.
it sucks because I'm the type of person that'll give and give and give, and I give chances and give chances because I always want to find the good in somebody. And yeah, have I been screwed over before? 100%. But I'm learning, like, you know what? I won't give as much. I'll just step back. And once I start
Mhm.
stepping back and I start getting quiet and I start stop coming around, you're gonna learn, you're gonna figure it out.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. You're like, Where's Ash? Like, I don't
Mhm.
understand." Yeah.
Mhm.
No, okay. So do you feel like on your end there was anything like growing up wise that, caused you to become this alpha female, or anything in life in general that you felt got you to the point to where you're at right now in terms of your alpha female mentality, the way you are, you're a go-getter, you're striving to do better always. You're a great person, Ash. Truly.
I honestly think I've always had it. My dad always, taught me to be very independent. He's always taught me you don't need anybody, you don't need a man, um, to progress in life. You should want a man, not need a man. And if you find a man, they should be they should be right there with you, not standing in front of you, not standing behind you, but they should be equal with you. They should want the best for you, right? And so my dad always taught me, how to be independent, and you can change your own tire. You can be the CEO if you want to. You're gonna have to work a little harder because you're female, but just do it. And he's always taught me never to settle, always strive for more. And I think going growing up, I always had that. And then going through loss in life, like I've lost people in my life that have been like heavy hitters to me. And so then it's like, okay, I figured out when you lose somebody like the people that I've lost that are big time players in my life, okay, now I'm me. I'm only here for me. And I like losing I lost my mom, and I had to stand up and be the female in my family with my brother and my dad and my niece and nephew and stuff. So like I don't want to say like the matriarch, right? Because that's like grandma's that. But like I've had to step up and be that female for, make
Uh-huh.
sure my dad's good, my brother's good, my nieces and nephews are good. I've had to do that and kind of take that over. And I say a young age in your 30s having to do that when you expect to have your mom until, she's 80, 90 years
Uh-huh.
old. You don't have that. So it's like, okay, now I gotta pick up where my mom left off for everybody else.
Mhm.
And then losing a spouse at a young age, then it's like, okay, now I'm on my own. There's nobody else that comes through that door with me at the end of the day, when that
Mhm.
happened. And so it's like you bring strength out of places you don't know, and that alpha comes out even more. And it's like, okay,
Mhm.
that alpha is really gonna show now. You saw before maybe this much, now you're gonna see it 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that. And so just trials basically is what's brought it out in you.
Mhm.
And being
It's always been
unapologetically yourself.
Yeah,
Like,
100%,
that's
and it
it.
sucks because people never really saw that because I've always tamed it down a lot,
Mhm.
but just having to go through those motions, it's like, "No, I can't tame it down anymore." Like, I'm not gonna hide who I am, for anybody else. If you love me,
Yeah.
you love me. If you hate me, then you hate me. I don't like to use the hate word because I don't hate anybody. I may dislike you.
Mhm.
I don't wish you any ill intent. I don't wish you bad. I want the best for you. You're just not in my life for a reason. And so
Yeah.
good luck to you.
Yeah. No, 100%, and I've seen your strength. Like, I've seen you, and I think I've told you at times, like, multiple times, like, "Ash, I don't know how the hell you're doing it." Like, pulled
Dude, I
strength from
wish
places that, we didn't even know you had, and
I'll
so
tell you,
I
sometimes
get
I
it.
go through the day and I'm like, I don't know where that came from. But yeah, you figure it out. Like I've always been the person that I will not quit. I will not give up. I
Yeah.
very rarely ever say I'm defeated. If I ever say I'm defeated, people know, oh shit, excuse my language,
Something's
something's
wrong.
wrong. And I've
Mhm.
said it twice in probably the past almost 4 years where I've hit, I don't want to say rock bottom because it's not really rock bottom, but emotionally,
You're low. Yeah.
my low. And
Mhm.
I've I've told close people like I'm defeated, and the amount of people that are knocking on my door, calling my phone, saying like, "No, that's not Ash. She does not say that." So I mean, again, you pull the strength out from wherever you can, and
Mhm.
you'll be amazed where you find it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, like, that's another thing too, even though we're alpha females, we still have our moments, and we still go through it, waves, ups and downs. That's life. So nobody is, safe from that. Everybody's going to go through trials and have to go through these tests, but always remembering when you come back to it, like, I'm a bad bitch. I am powerful. And I feel like a lot of women have forgotten how powerful they are. Like,
I
truly.
I agree with you. I really do. I think a lot of female just get put in that. Um, I don't. I don't know how to explain it. They just get put in that box of like, you can't be powerful. You can't be, a boss. And so
Mhm,
they stay stagnant. And it's like, no,
mhm.
you can't do that. You will,
Yeah,
and again, it goes back to, who you have around you. If it's relationship or family, nobody in a relationship or family should keep you there. They should want the best for you. And again,
100%.
it's that relationship, you should be matching each other. You should be wanting to grow as a couple. You should be wanting I go back to, you want to build that empire, you want to build that life with
Mhm,
somebody. And so it should be equal. And with a family, your family should always want the best for you, regardless of what that
100%.
is. And so if you don't have that and you have somebody or you're somebody that's willing to stay just stagnant, that's not good. That's not healthy. I'm not saying
100%.
go
And I
crazy, right? Like
yeah.
don't stress yourself out and run yourself ragged, but at the same time, like, be Wonder Woman.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like a lot of the time in the, like, it's gonna sound horrible, but the Latino culture, it is men come with so much machismo that I feel like women
Yes.
have to feel like they gotta step back and, like, be 100% in their feminine when you shouldn't have to be 100% in your feminine all the time. You do have a voice. And so the power thing is, men are like, "Oh, I'm big, I'm bad," and to where they're hyper masculine, right? But okay, let's think about it. Without women, there would be no procreation. So it would have just been one man, that's it. We bring power. We bring that. So without us, there would be no procreation. There would be no life as it is currently. So I feel like I want women to know that. I want them to go back into their power because if you look at history books or you look at stories or whatever it is, you see and you can find many stories where women have gone up to a king or a prince or whoever's in charge and like, "Hey, I want that man's head or I want this." And they will do whatever it takes to give her what she wants. It's that
Women are
feminine
powerful.
power.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, very much so. But it's got to be with the right man too, though, if you think about it.
Mhm.
'Cause
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you have to be able to do that. And it's just it saddens me. It saddens me because like I said, I feel like women have forgotten and then the ones that haven't forgotten and are strong in their yin and yang, their feminine, masculine, those people are frowned upon. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, like no, she's too masculine. And so you're
Mhm.
kind of like screwed. You're never going to please anybody
No,
and you're just going by the wayside. So you have to learn like, okay, I'm not going to be a pleaser and I'm just going to do what I have to do for me.
you'll learn that, and I think that's when all the pieces start falling into place. Is it always gonna be perfect? No. Regardless across the board, life in general is not gonna be perfect, but once you figure out, like, "You know what? I'm not everybody's cup of tea," then you work on you and everything
Mhm.
else, relationship, career, friendships,
Falls in
whatever the
line.
case may be, it all falls in line. And again,
Mhm.
will they all be perfect? Absolutely not, because nothing is perfect. It's just how you're willing to cope or work with it. If you're willing to work
Mhm.
through it and get through it, the sky's the limit, regardless of what it
100%.
is.
100%. And so
Right.
we'll close with this. The last quote is, "So we are living our lives based on our reactions to the events around us. So we become strong because we have to, and we push ourselves through hard times because we have to." And to me, that was like, wow, like we are living like I said, for example, for me, I, didn't have the strongest relationship with my mom. I didn't have a relationship with my dad. For 8.5 years, I was an only child, so I had to be very confident in myself. And as a teen, learn to be confident in myself. And so you are kind of going off of those reactions and of the events of the things that are happening in your life, whatever the case is. And so I feel like either you're gonna grow and be strong, or you're gonna grow or not even grow. It's the other way around, the opposite side of the spectrum. You're not going to grow. You're going to be stuck, and you're going to dwindle. And
Mhm.
so it makes me think of when I first met Andres, he was like, "Hey, like, I want to live in the projects. I want to, live like a true Mexican life." And I'm like, "What is a true Mexican life? That doesn't make any sense, right?" And so
Yeah.
nothing is wrong with living in the projects. If
No.
that's where you live and that's what you can afford, I'm not judging you. But if I
Mm-mm.
didn't come from the projects and I can better myself why would I go backwards? And so I told him, like, no, like, I came from the hood, point blank, period. The west side of San Antonio, south side school, like, I came from the hood. I am who I am. It's made me who I am. But if I can get out of that and give myself and my family better, why wouldn't I do that? So that strength had to come from within and kind of me bring out my alpha. And then that's alpha to alpha, you're colliding.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to work through it. But I was like, no, I have to be strong. I have to push through this because this is me speaking up for myself. And
Exactly.
as an alpha female, you do speak up for yourself all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I can't really relate to that one. I didn't really grow up too much. I mean,
yeah, no.
typical middle class family. I mean, my parents, were there times when we just ate sandwiches for dinner? 100%. I mean, my parents struggled to put us through private school because they didn't want us to go to the public schools that were in our district because they were really bad at the
Yeah.
time. And so did they sacrifice? Did they not have money all the time? 100%. But it just
Yeah.
goes to show, like, if they can do it and push through with two kids and struggle and still manage, like,
100%.
watching them, like, try to figure out money and, trying to make sure their kids, because I mean, I hear it from all parents, you always want better for your kids than what
Mhm.
you had, right? And my parents were the epitome of that. They always wanted better for us than what they had. And so in watching them struggle has always been like, no, I'm not ever going to want to
Mhm.
struggle in life, and I'm always going to do better, and I'm always going to make sure that
Exactly. You're
I'm
not gonna
always
backtrack.
exactly. I'm not gonna
Yes.
backtrack, and I'm always gonna strive for more. I never
Yeah.
settle.
Exactly. And so that was my thing is, I was like, okay, like, here's where I got to speak up and I got to speak my truth. And I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. Girl, he didn't even grow up in the courts. So it made no sense, the project. So it's
You're like, "Why are
like
you
you,
saying that?"
yeah, yeah. And it's so, everybody's different, but I'm like, you know what? For him, on his side of things, he was trying to prove how Mexican he was because his father does come from Mexico. And so he felt like, okay, like I have to be like where my culture is and where, it's primarily Latinos. And
Mhm.
so when we moved out, to the boonies, when we had moved, when it was just
Yeah.
boonies, it was, am I like am I looking down at people? I'm like, just because you're stepping up doesn't mean you're ever looking down at
Mhm.
people. Because I will take the shirt off of my back for somebody. I will put food in your pantry. I'll do whatever I can because I know that where I came from, I can go straight back to it like that.
Exactly, it can be taken away in a heartbeat. So,
Yeah.
that again, that's me. I'll give the shirt off my back, I will give the food, whatever it is, I'll do what I can, and when it comes to elderly and kids, that right there has my heart. I'll give it to you before I give it to anybody else, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like you said, it's not looking down on anybody. It's just showing people you can do it. If I can,
Yes.
anybody can. But it sucks
Exactly.
because people don't have that mentality. People look at
Mhm.
it like you said as, oh, you think you're better. And no, that's
Mhm.
not the case. I've just made something on myself. And if you really got to know me, you would see that I would do anything for anybody within my
Mhm.
power. But you don't look at it that way.
Yeah, and everybody has the same opportunities. And so, I know people will fight tooth and nail on that and say no, we don't. As Latinos, maybe we when it comes to careers, maybe we don't have the same opportunity, but the way I had an opportunity to work hard, build brick by motherfucking brick,
Yep.
I was able to do it. You can too. So it's like, okay, you channel that inner alpha and you're like, okay, no, I'm not going to stay stuck. What do I have to do to get to A? You get to A, I'm going to get to B. And you keep going and you keep going and you build and that's how you grow. Some people just like, hey, this is a cards life dealt and they're okay with it.
I think some people are like that, but then you also have those people that they want this, but they don't want to start here. And it's like, you know what?
Exactly.
I'll give it to you.
Mhm.
You have those people that started out flipping hamburgers at McDonald's, and now they are the CEO, not CEO, but you know what I mean? Like branch manager, district manager,
Yeah.
or whatever. They've worked their way up and they're making that good money, and they're more power to you. I don't care that you work at McDonald's. You actually worked your way up, and you
Yeah.
went from you know what it's like to be at the very bottom and grow yourself up, regardless of where you could do that in, any business. But again,
Mhm.
you have to work hard for it. It's not just handed to you.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. So that is what I have. Do you have any commentary? thoughts, opinions, any suggestions for the viewers?
I would just keep working hard. That's really
Exactly. Keep
all.
pushing. Keep
Yep, keep
pushing.
pushing. That's all you can do because it's out there. You'll get there regardless of, where you came from, what you're doing. You you will find strength where you least thought you had it, and
Mhm.
you can grow and you can be amazing. Don't ever give up. Don't
Always
quit.
be unapologetically yourself. Point blank,
Exactly.
period. Yeah.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better.
Well, I appreciate you for joining me, Ash. I
Of
always keep
course.
these to 30 minutes, so we're 5 minutes over, but we're good. I
That's what
appreciate
happens.
you. I enjoyed having you, and it's always a good time talking to you. I feel like this is just like a conversation, but we're
Exactly.
just
It's
video
just another
chatting.
phone call. It's like FaceTime, right? But
Yeah, no, but I appreciate it. And so to everyone watching, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate the love, the support, and until next time, I hope you have a great one. Bye.
bye.